What's an industry secret in the field you work in? Auto insurance agent. Please, for the love of God, don't tell auto insurance agents more than you have to. They ask you a question. Just say yes or no and answer the question as straight as you can. If you go on and on about your life story, you will probably end up saying something you don't have to, and making your rate higher, or getting yourself declined. We want to get you that policy as cheap as possible. Only tell us what we need to know, and don't say anything else. As an auto insurance claims adjuster, I second this. And buy coverage that protects you. You get what you pay for. 10k property damage liability doesn't cover crap anymore. I'm shocked anyone is selling, or buying, coverages that low. That's basically the same as being uninsured. The fruits and veggies you buy at the grocery store, wash them. There are people that don't wash fruit and vegetables from the store before eating them. Also, I highly recommend not putting something you intend to eat directly on the conveyor belt at the register. That thing is not necessarily sanitary. People put money and sneeze on it all the time. I work in a grocery store and never put food directly on the belt. Where else is there to put it? This doesn't make any sense. Knowing how to research the answer to a question is at least as, or even more useful than knowing the answer to begin with. I made a living in it for a decade with that mindset. I don't know any programming languages, but I know how to translate. It's worked so far. I'm the receptionist for a knit company. Being able to translate the whole system has gone kerflooey to steps like, are there any error messages, and what were you doing when this happened, is a pretty needed skill. Note: if you are not tech savvy and your computer has an error code, take a picture with your phone or write it down. It's extremely helpful. If you don't have tech help on standby, you can often Google it and see what the problem is. Before that, I worked phones at a hardware store. It's surprisingly similar advice. Take pictures, especially any codes on hardware pieces. I'm a dentist. Here's a lowdown on toothpaste. As long as it has fluoride, they are all basically the same. When I was in dental school, the Colgate lady came by and said that everything that says Colgate Total on it is all exactly the same. The only difference is the packaging. So whether it says whitening or gum protection or whatever else, it is all exactly the same. The exception is sensitivity. Toothpaste typically does have an extra active ingredient, No3, which helps with sensitivity. Don't ever feel obligated to buy the expensive toothpaste because you think it will be better for your teeth. Just buy whatever you like best. But the toothpaste I buy at the dentist, Clinpro, is different. Correct? Yes. Clinpro, a prescription toothpaste, has a higher percentage of fluoride, which makes it better for people who tend to get cavities. Library worker here. The majority of donations we receive do not end up in circulation on our shelves. No matter how much you demand, we put them there once they are donated. The reason why this is because we only add items to the collection that we think will circulate, be checked out. Most libraries get funding based off of statistics. We don't want to waste shelf space on items that people aren't checking out, as it won't improve our stats. So, unless the donated items are brand new or by popular authors, we will not add them to the collection. We will also weed unpopular items from our collection with extreme prejudice for this reason, much to our patrons' horror. These books usually end up being sold at book sales to help generate funding for other library programs. Dude, I love the local library's annual book sale. They do it 4th of July weekend, as this is a touristy area, and it's like a 50 cents for paperbacks and $1 for hardcover. Sad as I am that they aren't doing it this year, I'm pretty excited because that means it'll be huge next year. This kind of wistfulness for a book sale is the most wholesome thing I've read today. A lot of librarians will waive your fines if you have an excuse and you don't ask too frequently, even large fines. Also, librarians don't care about your fines and aren't judging you. Please come back. We personally have more fines than you. Librarians are always overdue with their books. I don't know if you're from US, but I'm new to US. Everything, rent, banks, car rentals, universities etc seems to want to overcharge and wrench the last cent out of you for minor forgivable reasons. Except for libraries. I was late on a book. A few days. Wasn't charged. I love the libraries and the library system. They also try their best to get you a book from other locations, and librarians are generally kind and polite. Library cards are free. You enter a library and nobody judges you etc for anything. They also recommend not to get our research published with predatory journals etc. You are awesome. The world is in debt of your services. Seriously, support your local library. They do so much good on a budget of peanuts. It's insane. Those book transfers between libraries are not cheap. Fuel costs money. Not an industry I work in per se, but I used to be in a sales role. One of my customers was a milk bottling plant. I was somewhat surprised that they were putting the exact same milk in both organic and non-organic cartons. Turns out all of their milk is organic, but in order to not miss out on the sales of non-organic milk, they just bottle them differently and sell them at different prices. This one is both startling and interesting. It's efficient that way. You have the ability to legally sell the same product for different amounts. One of those products is essentially pure profit. Not having the requirements doesn't mean that you don't have the benefits. Former industry, commercial radio. It's never caller 5. It's the caller who sounds best on air. I won something on the radio once. The lady DJ called me back on a few minutes. She forgot to record the call. She told me to act excited. It was hilarious. She blamed it on being pregnant, said she had lost her mind. I won Rolling Stones tickets once. The concert had been sold out for months. Winning tickets was supposed to be a big deal. They didn't like my phone recording, so they asked me to come in, and they would give me an entire prize package on the air. Got there, they had a box of CDs, t-shirts, gift certificates and other crap. Got me on the air live. I panicked. They were looking for excitement. They got a mumbling 18-year-old. When they asked me what my favorite Rolling Stones song was, I said, and I quote, I don't know. Probably Fortunate Son or Proud Mary, not Stones songs. 3 DJs in the room just went silent before just going to commercial. They pulled my tickets out of the prize box, handed them to me, and led me out the door. 30 years later, one of those DJs is back on the air locally, and he's told the story on the air several times. All was good with me. I scalped the tickets for $200. Be surprised how willingly someone will do their job and even go above and beyond if you just compliment them for their professionalism, politeness and how they are helping them. As a cashier, I'm not even ashamed to admit that I will do more for you if you tell me I'm being helpful. I've had so many free upgrades, like a large coffee when I asked for a medium, or extra food on the plate from just being super polite and friendly. I go really overboard if the customer in front was being rude as well. It's a win-win. I also don't understand the mentality of talking down to someone who's serving me. I mean, without them, I wouldn't get served. Construction boy here. If your windows or sliding doors are tough to open and close 9 times out of 10, we put your own dish soap on tracks and the thing works perfectly. It takes 5 minutes and we charge $150. Dish soap people, it's better than WD-40 sometimes. Literally not 5 minutes ago I was closing the slider in my bedroom thinking it's time I finally look up solutions to make this thing glide easier. So I hopped on the internet, naturally got distracted by Reddit first, and now here we are. So serendipitous. Serendipitous. Awesome. A lot of successful artists at a certain level of success do nothing more than create a concept and employ several assistants, who are either current or graduating art students, who actually make the art itself, its reproductions or both. Can 100% vouch for this. I make about the salary of a teacher, less, creating artwork every day for a recognized contemporary sculptor, who then picks up the work from me at the studio, and then sells what I made for hundreds of thousands. But hey man, his idea industry no RMS. TBH they wouldn't buy it, unless it had some stupid name attached to it, that they recognize instead of actually appreciating art. If you order a pizza, but like to choose your own toppings, it's often cheaper to choose an existing pizza like a meat supreme or something with loads of toppings, then swap out all the toppings for ones you want, than to go for the create your own option in the menu. Note, this is much less awkward if you order online than on the phone. There's a certain pizza chain website that I discovered will let you apply coupons on pizzas that aren't covered by the coupon. If you mess with it a bit, you can stack coupons, sub out ingredients, and get your order down to about 50-60% of the original price, even if you don't have coupons that cover what you've actually ordered. Then pay online and pick up in person. I doubt a human ever actually checks your total in the process. There was a McDonald's hack for this on a touchscreen menu. Basically, by deconstructing the sandwiches, you ended up with an extra 10 cents off. Burger is like 1.50, but discounts were 1.60. So if you order that 15 times, people could get a full one free of charge. Been fixed since. Firefighters are trained on several areas and can specialize deeper into certain disciplines. Most of the emergencies we get called to are situations we have never been trained on. But with 4 of us on a fire truck, we can normally figure out a solution. In my county, a girl got stuck in a clothes washer. I wasn't on the call, but there's a video of it online. I remember doing car extrication in the academy, but not washer extrication. Oh, step firefighter bro. Weight loss industry. This might be obvious, but most of our business comes from return clients after they've gained their weight back, and then some. To be clear, the plan isn't rigged to make you gain it back, but the fact that it happens easily as a result of dieting keeps us in business. This is why weight loss is so hard. Gotta change your lifestyle permanently, not just for a few months. The real problem is people think of the word diet as temporary eating less rather than making permanent changes. They'll go on a diet, drop a few pounds, come off the diet, and go right back to where they were. Teacher, the parents are more of a hassle than the students. I doubt that is a secret, but there it is. I know a few teachers and this seems to be a pretty common view. One said 30% of his job is teaching, 30% is unnecessary school admin, and 40% is dealing with parents who think their spoiled little crap is a victim of some conspiracy. The ratio is nowhere near that, but when you teach in a region where the majority is uneducated, they tend to undervalue education and pass that on to their kids. Former Bath and Body Works associate here. The scent they discontinue will come back with a different name and new marketing. They're just recycling the scents. I worked for the biggest Mast, the company that owns Bath and Body Works and is a division of Well Brand, contractor in Virginia for 8 years. There are so many fragrances that are rebranded and recolored to a different flavor. Fragrance oil is absolutely 100% the most expensive part of any shower gel or foaming soaps we made. Odds are they have hundreds of thousands of pounds of these oils in warehouses all over the US, so they just rebrand it as something else. It's not like they are going to scrap it. Also, all this crap you see on the labels of shower gels and foaming soaps that say enriched with vitamin E or contains aloe vera extract is complete absolute bull. We made our batches in sizes of 40,000 lbs. In a 40k pounds batch, you had about 2 ounces of vitamin E you would add to the batch, and barely enough aloe extracts to even get it out of the cup to add it to the batch. They add the absolute bare minimum to have it on the label, as required by FDA. Foaming soaps are also about 65% water, so they make an absolute killing selling them. The 65% water thing is why I use solid bar soap for my face and in the shower. It's more concentrated, lasts longer, better environmentally because it uses less packaging and less shipping cost. Plus I'm a cheapo. I can get 4 bars of soap for PS1 and then Clinique solid soap for my face which lasts ages. A huge portion of online reviews, ratings, social media presence, etc. that you see for any given company are fake, paid for, or done by multiple accounts controlled by us. This includes the company's Glassdoor page, fake reviews about how great it is to work there, so that the million negative reviews don't crush their page. I'm not saying it's every company out there, but it's been a lot of the ones I've worked for. Source: am copywriter. What are ethics? I surely don't know anymore. Can confirm on Glassdoor had a company-wide initiative from the higher-ups to post positive reviews of our workplace. BC it was getting hammered by negative reviews. For a while you could tell the fake positive ones BC looking at the dates they were posted. Suddenly a dozen positive reviews on the same date. Yep, all planted. It's also a dead giveaway when the pros are unbelievably positive to the point of absurdity and the cons are either none or my personally most hated. This job is not for everyone. You won't do well if you aren't comfortable in a fast-paced, demanding environment or some variation thereof. It's a lame attempt to brush the preceding negative reviews under the rug by saying those workers were just lazy or incompetent without actually addressing their issues, and also tells me the place is a hellish nightmare to work for. Dress codes and other rules bouncers tell you at the door are usually made up on the fly. We are just telling you all diplomatic like that you look like crap, and or that you look poor, or you look like you'd scare women away from the bar/club, which basically means you'd cause the club to lose money. The McDonald's ice cream machine isn't broken, the frickers were just too lazy to clean it, or more likely, none of the people working that day know how. Exhibition takes like 4 hours. It shuts off and makes you clean it, so rest assured it's gonna be clean. Just not when you need it. McDonald's should have a flag that is up if the ice cream machine is working and half-mast if it's not working. That's a pretty freaking hilarious idea. This should be pretty obvious. But for big brand hotels, if you try to sneak above the hotel and call the corporate customer care line to demand compensation/complain, that customer care line will always call the hotel for the full story and not just blindly give compensation. When I used to work in a hotel, we would call the customer care line preemptively if a guest was acting up and we thought they'd demand compensation for something stupid. We'd get our story on record first. X happened, we offered Y, guest refused and got angry and rarely got charged, even if the guest was compensated by customer care. I've always wondered, how do you get the free upgrade? I've always been too nervous to ask. If there's a lot of IT problems and your IT people look like they are working their asses off, it's because they don't know what they are doing. If things are smooth and it looks like your IT people don't do crap, it's because they know exactly what they are doing. It also depends how many IT people there are compared to how many problems. An army of ants can still take down a beetle just by overwhelming force and luck. Or a single individual can be worked to the bone. Agreed. Right now our department is stretched very thin because of some recent employee losses. There are too few of us working on too many things with not enough time. We are still exceeding expectations, but between more work piling up and having to train the largest group of new hires we've ever had, we are gonna be behind for a while. At Goodwill 50% of what you donate ends up in the trash. BC we don't have the space for it, or we just deem it too ugly. Our local thrift store has a semi-trailer sized dumpster behind it. They fill it every couple of weeks because most of the crap people donate was garbage to start with. They just didn't have anywhere else to dump it, so they donated it. Honestly, I think that is the most important service they provide. My dad has some engineering books that he has been holding on to since the 50s, and even though they are not really any good to anyone, he won't throw them away. He keeps trying to donate them to libraries, but they don't want them. Goodwill helps us throw away our precious garbage. Banks don't have millions of dollars in cash in them. Their insurances rates would be way too expensive. They keep enough on hand to do weekly traffic plus some extra. Yeah, there's a reason you need to call them ahead, 24 hours notice, if you intend to withdraw more than $5,000 to $7,000 in cash. This bank won't give me my money. The guy who shows up at your house to make repairs is usually the guy who decides how much to charge you. Standing behind him while he works cost extra. Treating him like crap cost extra. Being nice to him can save you a lot of money. Question: do you want me to be in the room? I'd rather ignore you cause I'm socially awkward, but I've been taught it's nice to be available in the area, and in my apartment that either means being in the common area or in my room. What do you prefer? You can be in the room. Just don't stand there next to him or behind him. If you're socially awkward, you know what that does to someone. Any individual part of flying an airplane isn't difficult. It's 100 small things piling up makes things difficult. As opposed to, say, playing the trumpet. Hitting that high note repeatedly is difficult and physically demanding. Landing is easy once you've practiced it a bit, but when it gets difficult you just nope out of there and land somewhere else. Retired ATC here. Not everyone can be number one in the sequence, but I'm the most important Skyhawk in the Bravo.